My mother claims that I sang before I talked. And I can't remember, but it's probably true. There's not a moment in the day that I am silent. Not really. I'll be humming, or singing, or whistling, or talking to myself. I do that. It's not because of old age, it's just, a deformity. Like you said, I'm most known for my work with Dorona, although a lot of people don't know my name, which is my curse. I just threw myself in there, and that's what I'm most known for. But I also make solo projects, and currently I'm touring the world with Andre here as a special guest. As he calls me every night, she's like dynamite. She has a voice like a cathedral. Well, I don't know about that, but I'm trying. But it all started officially, I think, when I was 14. When I was 14, I was sent a train ticket from Maastricht, where I'm from, to Hamburg. I've known a band called KMFDM for my whole life, just as a child, just as a friend of the family. KMFDM stands for Keine Mitleid für die Mehrheit, and is an industrial metal band, which is actually the predecessor of Rammstein. So, as a 14-year-old girl, after 3 days of partying with Carnival, lost my voice a little bit, I got on a train and got over there. The backing vocalist was ill. She wasn't ill at all. She was pregnant, but she couldn't sing anymore. So they heard that I was a singer, or I sang, so they sent for me. And I walked into the studio, being met by these rough guys, mohawks, leather jackets, spikes, all the things, really punk. Back then, I'm talking about a long time ago. Let me see, 89. They put on the music. Something like that, and then they gave me a note and said, there you go, go ahead. Okay. So that's how it's done in music. You're handed something, they put on some track, and you just do something. I'm fine with that. And that's actually how I kept singing most of my life. You listen, you open your heart, you take something, and you put it in there. I thought that was the way it was. I learned later that that was not necessarily the way music works, but for me it did. But it never occurred to me that singing could be a career, because it was just, me, and a passion, something I did without thinking at all. And for a career, of course, you have to put in effort and hardship and suffering. So I wanted to be an actress, gravel, find all this stuff in my head and pour my heart out, live like poor, and, of the arts, suffer most of all. So that was my goal. When I was 19, I had my first problem with my voice. Not because of singing, but because of talking mainly. And I finished my video, and I couldn't do auditions because I was not allowed to sing for half a year. Nowadays it's 6 weeks, but then it was half a year. You couldn't sing if you were operated on, so that was it. So I figured it would be good to be in my workplace already, so I studied theater and movie science at the University of Amsterdam, because at least it was something, in check with what I was aiming for. I followed all the studies, I did a few exams, and then I did a few auditions. I wanted to go to the TEDx in Antwerp. I didn't get accepted. I also think I did a few other auditions, maybe wasn't accepted. So that was a bummer. So I worked for a little bit, tried to listen to everyone around me that I was smart enough that I could study law or something like that, but didn't really stick with me. And after a few months I got kind of depressed, so yeah, I tried again. This time I tried also conservatories because why not? You know, I could sing. I was already singing in many bands, so why not? I tried that, but to be sure and to be safe, I also did a film production and movie production and TV production in The Hague, and I got entered in Rotterdam Conservatory. I thought I could manage both. Why not? You know, it wasn't really possible. They both said it was possible, but it wasn't really. And I went to Rotterdam, the conservatory, and there something happened that I wish upon no one. Before I studied there, I stood on every stage. I played with every musician or not musician. I did everything like in the studio. I would jump on stage, and the beautiful thing about making music is actually, we call it playing music, not making music, is that you just go for it. And at the conservatory I learned all about what can go wrong, and why was I not making choices? Was I gonna sing jazz or world music or classical? And I just said, I just want to learn about my instrument. And then I want to learn what it can do, and then later I will find my own sound, whatever it may be. And everyone thought I was pretty crazy again. So, I lost my passion, I lost my adventure, and it took away my heart, and I said I will never ever study music again, ever. Because singing is my thing. So I will not be a singer, or I will not be a studied singer. Again, some work, some travel, some depression, you know, all those things that you go through. And then I thought, I'm going to try theatre school again. I want to go to the Terling, but I will do an audition also at Dorona van der Groen. She will never take me. It's a very old-fashioned, hardcore theatre school. Guess what? Terling didn't want me, and Dorona did. So I did that. Well, match made in heaven, not really, but you know, I learned stuff. About that, I will tell you at the end of it. Then, after some more soul searching, there was another school, the Rock Academy. I got to know the people who founded it. It was a school that had just been open 1 year, so this would be the second year. It was a big mess, big mess. But that appealed to me. By the time I was 24, I thought, like, if I can go to a school where I can just be confident enough to say, I want to learn this, and let them not steal my passion, maybe that could work. It did, up to a certain point. I did so much for that school. I loved that school. I was the ambassador. I did every crazy out of school thing you could possibly think of. In my year 3, in the beginning of year 3, I had so many points that I could have graduated, like, double. There was only one thing that I couldn't do, and that was music theory. I just froze. I couldn't do it, and nobody believed me that I couldn't do it. It was like I couldn't hear it. I can improvise on anything you want, but if you tell me to identify an interval, I just go to know. But they had always told me that I could compensate it because I had so many points. You know, what was the point? I could finish school now. And then in year 3, they just walked in and said, like, yeah, sorry, but you can't compensate theory, so you cannot be a musician, you'll be an entrepreneur. And my heart broke. I had given my all. That was, I was ambassador. I did everything. Not that it really matters what's on the piece of paper, but at that moment, my heart broke. And then there was my teacher, my entrepreneur teacher. She said, like, so Dorona, what would you have done if you could be a musician at your graduation? So, well, I would have made a one-woman show, and I would have done a tour, and I would arrange everything. Of course, I cannot do that in a normal way, but I can make arrangements. I can totally tell everyone what I want and tell them how I want it. And I'll make this show, and we'll get on the road. And say, like, okay, you do that. You just have to write a little entrepreneur's plan. And if you do that, I make sure that you get the stage you deserve. The stage that the people get when they are a musician in your school. And when I did get the stage, I had a 1-hour show called Mental Striptease. I arranged everything. I did the own direction, I did the own clothes, the lighting plan. We had a tour, not very big of course, but that didn't matter. And everyone came up to me and said, like, who did the arrangements? And like, I did. So, now I graduated as an entrepreneur in music from the Rock Academy. Nobody has asked me anything since. And when I left school, I was in one band from one teacher, Pisti in Belgium, and I toured all Belgium, a little bit of France and some of Italy. And 2 years later, another teacher from the Rock Academy asked me to join his band, Gare du Nord. When I joined, it was big but unknown and wasn't playing live. And I was asked to join to play live. I did. In 2006 I joined. We wrote Sex and Jazz. It was big. We didn't know what was happening. It sold many copies of CDs, and we just went like, okay. People told us that we had a very good marketing machine, but really we had no idea what we were doing. We just, ran with it, and it was great. Until I felt it didn't evolve enough. And when I felt that I got stuck and I wanted to grow, I expressed it. And later we changed. We made changes in the band, we made changes in the shows. And every time I wanted more. And when it didn't work anymore, maybe there was another itch that I never had before. I wanted to make my own solo show. Now, if I had been smart, I would have done something similar to Gare du Nord, could take all the fans with me. Yeah, but I wanted to make a German song show. Everyone told me I was crazy. I was, but this is what I needed to do. This is what I wanted to do, so I did. And I played it 25 times. I'm very proud of that, actually. Although, if it were only the one, that would have been good too. So when they asked me for this talk, I was like, me? Okay, resilience. Okay, renewal. Well, I'm still not sure. I think I'm resilient. Renewal in music, I don't know. Every time I take a song, I strip it back. I tell you the story that I want to tell you with it. And I hope that you find the story, your story with it. So, where are we now? Oh yeah, then I did the German thing, and then I did the James Bond thing, and I did a cooperation with the Metropole Orchestra, and my own show, and then COVID came. In the middle of it, when we were just taking off. I was just been on TV, COVID came. To me, it felt like, when you get up on the high board to jump into the pool, the very high one that's very scary, and you get on top of there, you muster up all your courage, and you jump, and then you find out there's no water in the pool. That's how it felt. And I'm bad at socials. I don't like it, it's not my thing. I didn't post nice cooking stories about myself or songs from my bathroom. I didn't want to do that, because if I want to do something, I want to do it well. I want it to be a show. I want to take you along with me. I want to take you into a fairy tale. Luckily, they hadn't forgotten me. We did most of the shows afterwards. André Rieu called. I got to go on tour. I'm making new shows. Well, you never know what the future brings. But for me, the stage is a safe place. And I've been talking way too long, so now I have to wrap it up and I have to skip all that. All the advice I wanted to give you. Just think about this. If you ever speak publicly, or just in a group, or you have to perform, really, nothing can go wrong up here. You can be as small or as big, as loud, as colorful, as pale, as fat, as thin, as you want. Because together with the audience, there's this pact. I give you my all. You give me your time. And I will try to give you an experience. We're not here to bash each other's brains in. We're here because we want to talk to each other through all kinds of ways. Most of all, one lesson that I learned at that theatre school from Dorona. If you are today not feeling the best self, let's say you feel like half an egg, but not a whole egg. All you can do when you speak to persons, to people, is be 100% half an egg. Not a whole egg. Because you will overdo it. You will be not true to yourself, not true to the person you're talking to. Just be 100% half an egg. And you'll be just fine. Thank you.